Hi, I'm so glad that we get this chance to be together. Feels like it's been a little while. But today I want to be talking about the winter energy because we are firmly heading that way, whether winter is big and fierce where you are or whether it's a bit more gentle like where I am right now. I want to talk to you about winter energy, what that's doing in the season and also what your system is doing in response. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Hi, Sylvie. I see you there. And Dave. Hi, Dave. I'm here stirring my cup of tea so I can share an awesome cup of tea with you. And as ever, then this is a great time to be asking your questions as well. Hi, Alexandra. Well, I know what kind of winter Alexandra and Dave are having because it'll be similar to mine. But Sylvia, I wonder what's going on with you in Canada right now. Is it fierce winter or is it still fairly gentle? Hi, Ewan and Nancy. Hi, Emily and Carla. That's great tea. I've spent the day doing a lot of filming today. So yes, a cup of tea at the end of the day like that is very, very welcome. So we'll wait just a couple more minutes. Hi, Victoria and Claire. And then we're going to start because I really want to be talking about winter. Sometimes I feel winter gets a bit of a bad rap unless you're a skier and you live in a place where there's lots of snow. But actually, winter is one of the most profound energies. It's definitely a time where if you can align with it, then actually it can source you so deeply for the year ahead. Lovely. We've got Rob, and Helen and Alexandra. Sylvie, so you're saying you've got beautiful light snow falling. That is great. And yes, very good weather for tea. All right. So, let's start. And of course, ask questions, any questions you want to bring forward about winter. But first of all, let me just talk to you a bit about what happens at this time of year. Because if we think of the cycles of the year, it's always great to ground the season that we're currently in the understanding of the cycle. So obviously, if I look outside my window right now, if I could see, it's dark, but if I could see right now, I would see that the land is quiet, that the energy from the land has retracted inside itself. And that's one of the reasons why in the autumn, a lot of things give up their external life. So the trees lose their leaves. Flowers often die or fall together and they live only in their roots. So everything begins to tuck back down into the earth. Of course, many of you will live in places where creatures are hibernating, whether that's bears or frogs or turtles. Many creatures go into that hibernation stage. And in a way, all of that is reflecting what's happening in our energy systems. Not that we get the chance to hibernate, but that actually our energy begins this spiral into the depths. So we have the winter solstice coming up in a few days' time. The opposite, of course, of that is the summer solstice. And by that time, our energy is flowing out from those depths in its most magnificent way. So our energetic systems mirror the energetic systems of the cosmos that we live in. No surprise there. And right now, as we're moving in to the real inner place, that place that invites stillness, quiet, or even silence, the understanding that in many parts of the northern hemisphere right now, the snow will be like a blanket on the earth, that's the earth resting or sleeping. And it is wonderful if we can do the very same thing. Of course, I'm only speaking to you now because of the advent of electricity. And of course, that gave us the electric light bulb as well. And that really radically changed what we could do in the winter months. And in a way, it's brought amazing, amazing forward understandings. And in another way, it's often moved us out of sync with the natural rhythm of our body. Because, of course, for our ancestors, not so very long ago, a few hundred years ago, then the shortness of light in the winter days would have really meant that there was a very short time for doing activity, for doing all the things in the day that was deemed to be necessary. Because after that time, there would have been candles and fires, but there wouldn't have been the access to almost the continuation of the day that we get to experience now that there's electricity. So your energy system is still geared up for a few hundred years ago. It's still geared up to more sleep, more social rest time. So sometimes in this midwinter time, of course, we have the time of great festivities. Nearly every culture has its midwinter festival, no matter what name it's called by. And that midwinter festivity was to sing the light back into being, to call the light back into being, to share the stories that would nourish the soul, so that if there was any part of your energy system that began to feel like the light was never coming back, then it could be anchored and grounded and nourished into holding trust and holding courage. Let me see if there are any questions that have already come up. Okay, Emily, you're saying, I'd like to know how much you're feeling bad in the winter is seasonal and how much is weather related. When you feel bad in the winter, but when it's cold and bright, you feel better. Love to know how you can support yourself more, as I feel half a person in winter. I use a light box, but it only takes the edge off. Absolutely. So that question of light and winter, or weather and winter, I mean, they're so interrelated because of course, weather has its own energy as well. When we're in big storms that are some way stimulating, then our energy systems pick up on the electricity of that. When we are, as is often the case here in Cornwall, in days and days, weeks sometimes of greyness, just grey cloud, then certainly for those of you who are used to more bright and sunny winters, this can feel oppressive and heavy in your energy system. So often, Emily, the situation there is that actually that ability of your system to align with winter, for whatever reason, is slightly knocked off. And we'll look at some ways later for just bringing that more into resonance, but often seeking quietness, seeking those places that actually bring the stillness into winter. And they can be beautiful ways. Finding a creative outlet, I've seen that work amazing. I was 20 years in practice and have a lot of social contacts as well, and see that when people engage in a creative project in the winter, then it really brings forward that nourishment. It's like their creativity lights up their day or their life. So even when there isn't a lot of sunlight outside, or there's not a lot of brightness, that light comes from within and is really, really strong. So maybe you're drawn to think about what kind of creative project. And I mean, let's put creative really broad. Yeah, it might be fine arts or crafting, but it might be poetry, it might be dreaming, it might be thinking. There's so many ways that we can turn creativity into something tangible, into something physical. And now I have to step aside and answer a question. Bev, you're asking if I saw the poem that you wrote in the Autumn Energetics program, and I did, and I loved it. I just saw it recently and I was waiting for a chance to thank you for it. So yeah, so funny, brilliant. Okay. So Helen, you're saying you find the dim light in the grey skies oppressive. You have a light box, but also wondering if there's anything you can do. Absolutely. And you know what? Seeing as there's been 2 questions about that already, then let's start right there, because there's 2 things I want to bring forward for that. One is very, very simple. Let's just cross our hands over and place them. For those of you who know your meridian system, this would be the end point of your meridian system, your K27s. For those of you who don't, it's simply if I go to the point of my collarbone, and get my necklace out the way, the point of my collarbone, and then drop down onto my chest. There's a nice big divot there about an inch and a half, 3 or 4 centimeters down. So cross your hands over and just tuck them, especially your middle fingers, into that place. All right. And I want you just to gently massage this, maybe do some little deep circles or little figure of eights here. We need to activate and wake up these points a little bit. The energy of kidney is really, really key during the winter months. Your kidneys are a source of your deepest yin energy, and winter is all about receiving, and that's often another way that we can move out of alignment with winter, because winter is often a very, very busy time for us, and we feel pressured with the time because of the shortness of light in the day. So even if we're no busier than we are in summer, it feels like the season doesn't support that busyness in the same way, and then that kidney energy can begin to get really drained. So doing this lovely, deep, nourishing movement into here can restore it. But also, let's just stop now. I want you just to direct the energy of your fingers into these points. So you can't really see much, but just curl your fingers in so that especially your middle fingers are in these points. What happens is that this middle finger is a very fiery and electrical energy. Just by sending energy and you don't even have to send it, yeah? This middle finger pulses out energy really, really strongly. So what happens is you are sending these pulses of energy deep into this watery kidney channel, and it can enliven it and pick it up so much that actually you begin to hold more light. So for those of you who really struggle with light, it's about activating your own light field. You don't need the sun to be that radiating beacon of light. You just need to activate that within yourself. And this is a beautiful, beautiful way to do that. So you keep doing that, because I want you to hold that for as long as the longer the better with this one, actually. Let's see, definitely no less than 3 minutes. 3 minutes is going to begin to pick up then. But if you can do it for longer than 3 minutes, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, oh my goodness, you're going to feel like your body is really holding much more strength, energy, power, and light. And that's going to help for those of you who feel that winter really kind of puts a lid on that light. That's what can happen when we lose our access to the sun. It just like there's a heaviness that comes in the system. All right, so you keep doing that, but I'm going to move this mouse so I can see. Hi, Eva, you're saying that you love this winter already. Okay. Let's see. And Carla, you're offering something different, that actually you often find the light evenings oppressive, and you love the autumn and winter months. Yeah, I definitely love, well, actually I love all the seasons, but I do love it when I move into winter and suddenly there's the permission to slow down. There's the permission to feel tired, the permission to actually travel into the depths of yourself, to explore what's in there instead of the more active and yang aspect of summer. Okay, let's have a look. Great, so lots of wonderful people here joining. Bev, you're saying that you find your third eye area is really pulling, and some anxiety has stepped in. Now, is that since you were doing this exercise, Bev, or because of winter? Just make that clear for me, because I'll answer that differently depending on depending on which of those questions you're asking. So as we're all holding this, and if at any point it feels like you've had enough, just drop your arms. But let me see, what's that from Bev? As you're holding this, then let me talk a bit more about your energy systems in winter, because I want to describe a few things that go on. So often in winter, the big biofield that's all around you, call it your aura or your auric field, your biofield, Now that's created from the energetic vibration of your physicality. Yeah. Each of your cells holds this amazing energy. And when those cells are stoked, when they're charged up, all of those little batteries all firing really well, then your biofield gets bigger and stronger because it's being emanated from inside your body, much brighter, stronger. So at that point, you'll have a really tightly woven energy field. In winter, that ability for the body system to hold a really kind of bright, strong aura shifts, it changes, because the focus of your energy system is to move internally. It's to go in and really work with much more of the energetic core that runs at the very center of your energy system, but also it encourages you to take your thoughts, your reflections deeper. It gives you the chance to really connect with what those core truths are for you, or your core beliefs or values. That's what the winter offers you. So as that's happening, your auric field will often get much smaller, much closer to your body, but it will also be much thicker. So its ability to do its job of connection and protection and communication within your energy system is just as able and effective, but no longer is it kind of holding an energy that moves out. You imagine your biofield has got thicker, almost creamier, and it's moved closer to your field. And that often means that we need more times of solitude or aloneness, maybe more sleep during the winter. Maybe if you're a very active person that loves the socializing, that in winter you find you need longer to charge your system back up after you've been socializing. There's a beautiful stillness to a lot of the seasonal energy around us. The birds are still flying and there's lots of activity with squirrels, but at the same time, there's a softness, a quietness, a stillness that happens in the animal kingdom and in the plant kingdom, and we're part of those kingdoms. Let's see. Bev, okay, so you've answered that it is just winter that you feel that this area in your body really starts moving and your ears hurt and some anxiety steps in. So I'd really say with that, let's do a exercise that would be great for everyone. So if you want to keep holding these points, do. If you want to try a different one, then do. And you're just going to rub your hands together and you're going to cross your little fingers over and you're going to place your hands on your face. So your fingers are on your forehead, your thumbs are resting on your temple, and the heels of your hands are just touching your cheeks wherever they happen to lay. And let's take 3 breaths here. You can lower your chin a little, allow your body to move slightly inward so that it follows the flow of your energy. And just smooth your fingers over your forehead, down through your third eye, the bridge of your nose, either side of your nose to underneath your eyes. And let's take a few breaths here as well. This is a beautiful one for grounding in the winter months. Calms anxiety in the system. And just continue down through the face. And bring your hands over the base of the throat and the top of the chest. So we cover those same points that we started off with working. Let's take another breath here. And there's one more thing I want to bring forward for those of you who do find that pressure builds there, because it's very normal. This part of your chakra system, of your awareness system, is quite a yang system. It really moves out a lot. So actually, when the energy system is being called back internally, this can be a place of paradox. And for many of us, we are very, very sensitive. Maybe you're very empathic in your energy system, or got a lot of sensitivity. And when your energy system is like that, then a lot of it will run through this perception chakra of the third eye. So for those of you who maybe work with that, let's do something else, which is you're going to rub your fingers together, and you're going to bring your fingers just out, however, an arm's length, half an arm's length in front of your third eye. Now you're going to take a breath in, breathe out, and this time as you breathe in, you're just going to bring your fingers in towards that third eye. Take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, you're going to bring your fingers all the way down the center of your body to the lower part of your abdomen, and place both your hands there. It might help you if you think of an antenna, like we would have on the cars, an antenna that kind of pops up and then that you can fold back down on itself. That third eye can sometimes get so involved, so out there, that in winter it can really clash with what your energy system's trying to do. So helping it come in as if you're closing that antenna in and just letting it tuck down into its own chakra system, that can be a really wonderful way. So give that a try. And let's have a look. So Hilma, you're saying that solitude and sleep, long walks really suit you. Absolutely. That solitude in winter is really essential. We've lost a lot of the understandings and the willingness to find stillness. We live in a culture that much more rewards activity and external process. So that ability to be really still and to seek this stillness, to seek the solitude, to understand that in so many ways, what happens to your energy system in winter is the basis of what you bring forward into the spring. So right now, just as the earth is resting, that those seeds that are already in the ground are beginning to germinate in their depths, that in the spring they start to pop up and you see the little heads of them, and by the summer they're in full bloom. Then they grow into the ability to harvest or to be dropping their own seeds ready for the winter wait again. So that cycle that's going on, that's what's happening in your system now. So actually this is the time where the yin energy in your body, the deep receptive energy in your body, that's the source of all of your physicality, that is being laid down and restored. That's being recharged. So actually you can come out in spring with your batteries and your awarenesses really full. Winter, when it encourages us to really go in the depths, looks for us to really move with that spirit of self-inquiry, self-reflection, and from that place encourages compassion, self-compassion, an attribute that we can all do with so much more of. That ability to really connect into the center of yourself and say, wow, I'm an amazing being. I have a right to be here on this earth. I belong here. Wow, what can I do with my time here? When we're used to traveling that spiral of the soul into the depths in the winter, out into the extremities of our joy in the summer and back into the depth in the winter, then we begin to have a really beautiful relationship with ourselves. And definitely that's what I want for everybody. All right. Victoria is saying, as we approach a new decade and solstice and eclipse season, when we need to perhaps challenge our patterns that limit us, is actually getting out more and becoming less hermit-like in this season is harder. That's really true, Victoria. And Perhaps this is a season that encourages that, as you say, hermit-like or hibernation period. So if you've identified that that's something in your patterns, in your life, that you have as a goal, then it may be that you can gently do that in the winter, but it may actually be that you use the winter to really nurture your own energy, so that as you come into the spring, where that natural growth, that natural movement is coming forward, then actually it's not a challenge to move into those social situations at that time, because your system really is ready. So maybe just really sit with that, do some reflection as to whether you need to be moving into those social circles right now and breaking those hermit-like patterns, or whether actually this is the time to really absolutely embrace them, so that you can be well sourced for coming forward. Sometimes we simply have to give ourselves permission, don't we? Permission to be still, permission to feel tired. So many of us will fight that feeling of being tired because we know we have so much more to do in the day. And that presents a huge clash in our energy system. If you're feeling tired, but actually you're burning your way through it, you're forcing your way with your motivation, your determination, your willpower, then at this time of year, that's robbing that essential battery for you. Your life force should be being stoked up now. It should be being really stored and nurtured, so that when you come into the busyness, then it flows. So ask yourself that question as well. Do you need to give yourself permission to stop, permission to be tired, permission to go to bed earlier, or set that alarm as late as you possibly can and still have a peaceful day? All of these, I'm in a very busy time here right now for the next few days. And when a friend asked me recently, how are you doing it? I said, great. I've told myself I have a huge amount of space around the work I need to do. And just that somewhat illusion of space, or maybe the perspective of space in my day, means that all the work is being done rather effortlessly. Well, I could be battling against that and feel the overwhelm, but giving myself permission to really enjoy any space I have means that my energy system can flex and flow with what I need to do. So it's about understanding where that resistance in your energy system is and how to nurture it. So yeah, let's all give ourselves permission to experience slowness this winter. Let's see, maybe. Bev, I'm so glad that that worked for you and it cleared your eyes. Wonderful. Yeah, Eleanor, that need for solitude, sometimes we need it validated, don't we? And it's, of course, every one of us can validate it for ourselves at any time, but so often we don't. And when we really can understand that your energy system is asking for it, is calling for it, every part of your cellular energy and your subtle energy is saying to you, slow down, hang out, look around, think, dream. That's what the energy of winter gives to us. And when we can move with that, wow, what a great basis for the upcoming year. I actually want to say one more thing before we close, and that's this concept of a New Year's resolution. It's an odd thing energetically to be bringing in, because so often for us, actually it's really based in wisdom with the energy system. But so often for us, we nowadays take New Year's resolutions as to mean something active. I resolve to go to the gym every day, or I resolve to whatever it is. It's an external action. And what I'd really, really encourage you with your New Year's resolution is to make them New Year reflections instead, to understand or to find in yourself, in your reflections, what you can bring forward within yourself, or what you can nurture within yourself that actually can set you up for the year ahead. Leave your resolutions for another month or two. Find a reflection first so that you really understand what you wish to resolve within yourself. So that maybe gives you, if you need permission to have a beautiful and wonderful internal resolution rather than an external one, then really understand that's what your energy system is calling you to. In the middle of the spring would be a great time to make a New Year's resolution. I know it's not New Year then. All right. Wonderful. Mariah, you're asking, will you offer a winter energetics course this year? Yes, I will. I'm glad that you enjoyed the autumn one. Yeah, we're going to start the winter energetics course in the beginning of January, January the 6th. That one starts and it's going to run for 31 days where, yeah, I can really help you move into alignment, because my goodness, when your energy system is really picking up the power of winter, the energy of winter, it is so deeply transformative. All right, I've gone a couple of minutes over. I'm very, very happy that we've had this time together, and wish you an amazing midwinter festival, however you're going to celebrate that. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the new year. All right. Much love to all of you. Thank you. And thank you also for an amazing year. This year has definitely set some of my soul alight with gratitude and love. So really big thanks from me. Much love. Bye-bye.